before, Jamie? Like before Washbox, were you like in an active business?
So I worked customer service all my life. Retail facing was pretty much all. I worked for about 15 years total. 10 of that was with Apple, almost 10 was with Apple, and everything was customer service and customer facing, customer oriented.
My wife decided, hey, what about a laundromat? So then I started looking more on YouTube, and I started noticing that, a lot of these laundromats aren't really that clean. So we decided to have a different approach.
How were we going to set ourselves apart in other ways to make people want to choose us over those places that had those advantages? And those things were, customer service, like my husband mentioned, cleanliness.
I don't want to be one of the greedy laundromats where, hey, everything's just money, 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 money. No, it's customer service. Our main focus on everything has been customer service minded.
So yeah, Jamie, and Adam, I think I have not had a conversation with you. In since Kirtana has had a lot more conversation with you, but I keep following you and your business online. I keep following you on Facebook, and you are one of our combined ecosystem partners with PayRange. That is, you have PayRange on your machines as well as you have turns on your wash dry fold. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for meeting us.
No, no worry. It's a pleasure.
Start off, Adam, why laundromats? Why did you get into this business in the first place? There are so many things to do.
Well, honestly, we were looking at different, businesses that, we were trying to venture out to. And then for some reason, my wife decided, hey, what about a laundromat? So then I started looking more on YouTube, and I started noticing that, a lot of these laundromats aren't really that clean. So we decided to have a different approach. And so we built them from the ground up and made them new, inviting, and we keep them clean because people deserve a place to have a clean place to do their laundry. You go to a laundromat to wash your clothes so you could have clean clothes, not to go wash them so as soon as you get them out, they're dirty again.
That's true. Like I've
You
been to
know?
a lot of laundromats in and around. I think 20 to 30% of the laundromats are just like orphan properties, which is very sad. But then
Yeah.
that's how it is. But then how did you begin? Like, so what were you doing even before doing a laundromat? What is this like your first job? Is this like your second business? What is this?
So my wife, she worked for Apple for 10 years.
Understood.
And I was a union millwright. So I did a lot of welding, conveyor systems, a whole bunch of different structural buildings. You name it, we pretty much did it. So then we were like, you know what? My wife, her grandpa had gotten sick. And so I told her, you know what? Why don't you stop working? We're okay. Stop working. So she stopped and took care of her grandpa until he passed away. And then I continued working. And then, it's just, there's nothing like having your own business. You're being your own boss and deciding, hey, this is what's best for us and our family.
Like I genuinely believe that like I came from a very middle class background, so the idea was that doing business would free you. Like I would not have to listen to somebody be at some place, be XYZ. But then I
Right.
realized very soon it was a bigger kind of a responsibility than I had expected.
Right.
I grew. Like I genuinely like doing business. I like the idea that you work for yourself, you solve some people's problem and they pay you money rather than being in organizational corporate structure where you're just one piece of a large, huge picture.
But
But then
you know
laundromats,
what? There's satisfaction in it, though.
yeah, that's true.
You got to put in hard. It's hard work. Definitely hard work.
What I believe is business gives you a lot of reality of who you are. Like I to see this as a self-help slash self-enhancement kind of a journey also, which may sound very stupid to a lot of people, but in a big office, in a large office, when things are happening, everybody, at least me, I always felt that was I responsible for any of it. In business, you are. In business, you
Right.
get to realize who you are. Are you really what you say what you are? On what you present to people, are you that way? So it's a lot of reckoning, but then that's some people like it. I to love it.
Yeah, and then but it kind of tests who you are,
Yes.
and when you look at it, and sometimes you just got to sit back and look and see, hey, this is what I created. Like, this is my business, and you got to be proud of it. And by the
Absolutely.
way, congratulations. I hear you sold to PayRange.
No, the
Or
idea was always to build something of our own. Like I had done a laundry business before, and that was the period I felt most alive. So I felt that I should do a business again, and this is the industry which was closest to me at always point of time. And I always feel that laundromat operators are a bit different from normal people, because normal people, when they start off, usually 70% of them don't want to do business, and the rest 30%, probably 80% of them want to do food. And
right.
we are not food people. I'm not a food business guy, and anybody who's not a food business guy, I really respect them, because that's hard to look at. It's not very easy to find businesses which are boring. You have to put money in. And laundromat looks like a passive business, but is a very active business, in my opinion.
It is very active. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of things people overlook. There's maintenance, lots of maintenance. There's always customers that are don't know how to use the machines, or
Yes.
or having problems, or whatever the situation may be. But yeah, it's definitely not passive. There's lots of things that go on in the background.
How much do you work in your laundromat, you and Jamie? Like, are you are there attendants? Like, you are a multi-store owner now. So
Yeah,
how is it going now?
so now we are able to step away a little bit more because we do have some trustworthy family members that's helping us out. But in the beginning, I mean, for the first 8 months of having just the one store, we were the soul. Like it was it. It was us. It was us opening, it was us closing. We could step away a little bit here and there, but for the most part, we wanted to be, for one, we wanted to show face, we wanted to meet our customers, we wanted to gain that rapport with the community and just do things a little bit differently, because in order to kind of put up a competitive edge with and be able to survive, I felt was really we needed to stand out. We're not the biggest store. We're not the store with, maybe the most ample parking, but how are we going to set ourselves apart in other ways to make people want to choose us over those places that had those advantages? And those things were, customer service, like my husband mentioned, cleanliness. That was a huge thing. Those are the things that I felt like a lot of our competitors, so to speak, and I don't like to say competitors because I don't really feel like any of us are competing with one another. We're all just after the same thing, success and just providing for our families and
Have
whatnot.
you done a business before, Jamie? Like before Washbox, were you like in an active business?
No, so I worked customer service all my life. Retail facing was pretty much all I worked for about 15 years total. 10 of that was with Apple, almost 10 was with Apple, and everything was customer service and customer facing, customer oriented. And so it was really that part was my own, like I knew how important creating
Like
those relationships with customers and that trust
I
with
would say this.
customers.
I worked in some of the top technology companies in my life. Jamie, you would have probably the most seaside or C level exact idea about what a laundromat would be. Like you were so bang on, like from the moment you started off. Like I just felt that you were so like you were
Well,
probably
thank you.
preparing presentations for businesses that you had exactly like I think Adam would be very lucky to find somebody that serious and that
Well,
on in
well,
in in, in such a small amount of time.
he's definitely the mastermind behind all the technology in terms of the machines and the pay range system. Like that's his baby, all of the techie stuff in terms of how the machines work and whatnot. I mean, he amazes me at how well he figures out how to fix things, and I'm like, you've never worked on this before, and he just does it. He just knows it. He looks it up, he researches it. And I think it's huge to know you have to have some of that, or else you're going to be paying an arm and a leg to have other people do it for you.
Yeah.
So part of the success is just trying to do things ourselves as much as we can and really learning. And obviously when you first go into it, you look at the TikToks and the YouTubes and all the taboo things about the passive income and how many quarters you're going to collect and how wonderful your life's going to be, and you're not going to get rich. You're definitely not going to get
But
rich
were
off of
you
just
like
one.
excited? Like, did you see all of that and were you like enticed that
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
very
Yeah,
nice?
absolutely. I was blinded by this is awesome. You mean we can just sit at home and make money? This is going to be great. And then very quickly, we realized one, the big thing was, is we realized that's not what we wanted. We didn't want to just sit back and no one really know who was the face behind this.
That's true.
So we very quickly realized that that's not what we wanted for it. And then also the fact that we're very social people. Like I said, I come from that customer service background and that customer facing background, but my husband in general, I mean, he can just talk to customers for days and gets to know them and creates like these relationships with people. And so having that together and the person who can also deal with the operation side of it was a huge thing. And we realized like, hey, we can do this. Like we can really make this happen. And so about 8 months in, it did get exhausting. We realized we're gonna need some family support here. The biggest thing is that no one's gonna take care of your business the way that you are. And
Yes.
so finding people that are willing to help was a big thing for us. We didn't want to just let anyone put their hands in. We want people that we can trust, obviously, but also that's going to treat people the way that we would want them to be treated, because it's all a reflection of us at the end of the day.
You have like excellent CEO speeches, and you also know how to back compliment Adam so that he doesn't. You're like born for this. Like, I'll be very honest, you're born for this. You should have
Well,
probably
thank
found your
you.
calling 5 years ago. You would have been doing even five more stores. I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
thank you. I appreciate that. It's true. Like everything that I'm saying, it's genuine, it's true. I really feel like the struggles are obviously you start to realize rather quickly, like you question yourself. There's a lot of self-doubt, like, okay,
Yes.
can we do this? Are we cut out for this?
Should
Things
we
don't
even do
always.
this? Like sometimes people feel that is it even worth that much effort? Would we even make an ROI out of this? There is so much self-doubt. Like almost all the operators that I talk to, the first 6 months are usually full of fire. Like the honeymoon period is for the first 2 months where they feel happy because money has gone.
For
But
sure.
then the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh month, I almost 70% of them I hear they talk about I wish I could sell. But
Hmm.
then when the people pass from that, like people who are able to pass out from that are the ones which usually end up being successful operators.
Right.
That always comes through. But then at any point of time, you were you like Adam, we are way above our head. Yeah, let's cut our losses. This looks a bit hard.
So honestly, to be totally transparent, we were rather lucky because although we did have what they call, the zombie mat, the mat that had kind of closed down, had been like neglected, old machines, broken everything, we didn't really know going into it what all it was going to take. And we realized if we're going to do this, we have to go in fully. We couldn't just sit and pick and choose and say, okay, we're going to take this aisle and change this one up. We were going to do everything from pipes to water heaters to a facelift of the store, all new machines. And so, we started looking at equipment financing, started realizing how much the equipment a retool cost. And we knew like, hey, we're taking a huge risk here because one, we were new to the laundromat industry, but also two, we didn't really know how quickly we were going to get customers back in the store. We had a lot of customers during the build process where they would come in and say, when do you guys, open air? Is this still going to be a laundromat? So we knew that there was some stir in the community, but we really didn't know if it was going to pay all the debt that we were taking on.
Like when you bought the store, what was the story behind this? Like, okay, now you saw the TikToks, you're really excited. Jamie,
Right. So we were
all
kind of
Adam, I want to buy. What happens next?
blinded by that. And so of course it started out with the typical biz buy sell and all these like websites that everyone goes on for laundromats. And then you get on YouTube and it's like, oh no, we need a free laundromat. Oh, and you listen to that one guy, what's his
I
name?
know there are
Yeah.
like no hating on anyone. We're just telling our story,
Yeah,
but that's
we
all.
we won't name drop. But so, you hear these different things and so you start coming up with these different ideas in your head of, well, what do we need to do? Well, where do we need to go? And we looked at four $500 failing businesses that at first we were like, oh, this seems like a great deal, and then we're like, what were we thinking? We're buying someone else's basically fail.
No,
you
I'm just
know
saying, like, for example, what was your idea in, okay, now you're into YouTubes and all. What was your idea? How much would you ready to spend, like, just before going in? Like, yeah, this is okay. I'm
So
gonna.
we kind of talked about the $250,000 range. I think was like our golden number, and then we realized like that wasn't going to cut it.
We
So
after looking at equipment cost and
Yeah, like, I'm just saying 250K is just an entry cost here. Like you have to get the foot in the door, that would be 250K.
yeah.
right, so that really wasn't it. And our the laundromat that we got, we did put a little bit forward, but it actually was not, it was not as much
Like, but then
as
I'm just saying, out of four laundromats, three of them were in business. This one was zombie, dead, had to be ground up, regurgitated or reactivated. Like,
right.
didn't it scare you a bit more that yeah, this is hard, like this is new?
Well, that's what I do for a living. So I
Yes.
literally so so what I did is I went in, I looked at it, and before we even like when we first went in to go see it, the painting and all that, that's just paint.
Yep.
That goes away. The machines that were in there, I that was a you know, I had to figure that part out. But as
How
far
old?
I looked at the plumbing and I looked at all that and I said, okay, well, the plumbing, I'm just running numbers in my head and I'm like, okay, well, I know that I want to use, a good material for my plumbing, not those, something that's going to leak
Yeah,
right
like
away.
it's gonna be long time. Like you were thinking,
Correct.
so your idea was to rebuild this. Like, okay, before I ask that question, just one more. Why do you want a laundromat? Do you want to own this forever, ever, or is this like a business to another means?
Well, no. So obviously, I would love to get into other different businesses. I would love to get an RV park. That is, something I really enjoy doing with the family. Is we have an RV and we travel the United States, and we're usually every year we're gone for like a month or two, just traveling. So that is something, but no, I what I wanted to do is provide longevity for the laundromat. So no matter what or whoever, or how quickly we sold, I wanted the longevity and just something to provide so the community still has something in place no matter what.
Absolutely.
So
Like
that was important to me. So I
I think
use
Stockton natives are that way, right? Like I, from an India perspective, know Stockton 209 because I've heard people who are so big fans of Stockton. So I can see that you really love that place and in that community.
Right. Well, they've been really nice to us, so they have really embraced us. So we have a block and a half away. We have a giant laundromat,
Understood.
and he is also a distributor.
Yeah, I know that guy. Like I know, and I know he's never been very happy with that area, like Stockton area. He always felt that it was a little below where they were making. So I am so happy that somebody realized that this was underserved.
Yeah, and so like I said, I just wanted to build something, and we wanted to build something that just my wife was like, no, it has to be, like fresh looking. It has to be really clean, maintained well, and just it has to be clean. That was her top priority. We have to have new machines. A lot of machines they end up smelling over time, and
Yes.
the maintenance part of it, that's where it comes in. Vinegar does wonders. If you use vinegar in your soap trays, it cleans out your pipes and it also keeps your drums smelling fresh all the time. It's a little, I think people forget that maintenance will save you money in the long run.
Like I had a conversation last week with somebody who told me they were spending $6,000 a month on maintenance. They bought an old laundromat, 20-year-old machines, and
Yeah.
that's why they had to go and retool. So were you in that kind of a scenario, or what was your scenario?
So my thing was I wanted fresh everything. So I did all copper piping. I did tankless water heaters
Awesome.
with a recirculating line, so we have constant hot water on demand. There's no, you know how sometimes you wait for your shower to get a little warm. Well, this
Yes.
one is already there. It's already
I
hot.
go to a lot of laundromats where they clearly say no hot water available. So that's
Yeah.
that's also true too.
So we did 3 tankless water heaters. So they're always every single one of my machines can be on hot water, and I have more than enough being produced. So it's I definitely put some thinking behind of how I built it and then how it's all piped in and then all the machines. We didn't want to be just the average laundromat, so we actually spent a little bit more money than we probably should have. but we went with soft mount machines
Hmm.
because they're high extraction.
So
So they're high
why did you
extraction
choose this soft
machines.
mount? Like there are so many soft mounts now. There is Pete Beans, Alliance, there's Hibesh, there's Electrolux, there's Dexter, there's Hero. I saw some of your machines as Hero. I actually wanted to ask, what is your thoughts on this? I've never seen this very regular.
So it's
There you-
interesting with Hero. So we kind of explored all of the distributors and we got quotes from many. And we actually were going to we kind of were head to head with Fagor or
Yes.
Hero.
Yeah.
And what sold us was our distributor and the relationship that we were building with him. Because I feel like it's and everything, that all the research we were doing is it's really a two-part equation. Obviously, one part of it is the machines and longevity. And then the
Maintenance.
second part, though, is what sort of support you're going to have
Yes.
after. And the support that we felt like he was going to give us was probably light years ahead of where we were
This
feeling
is
with.
all in one pass. Now, has that gone on? Have you received that support?
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. There's been hiccups for sure where, maybe something here or there went a little loopy, but he's always came back around and made sure that we've gotten taken care of. And we would definitely do business with them again in the future. And actually, we ended up doing the same with him again for our second store. So that
You should name them
speaks to,
then. Like, even though we're not paid, I hope Adam and Jamie were not paid for this.
yeah. No, you want me to name drop?
Not the
Okay, yes,
bad guys, but the good
it's
guys for sure. They want this, right?
sure. It's Chris Upchurch with Laundry Lux.
Awesome. And as a machine guy, Adam, what's your take on this? Like
So
Jamie told me all about the great sales process and the support process. What do you think?
So my thing was I wanted to see how it all worked. So I wanted to see the maintenance part of it because soft mount, obviously, there's shocks and
Yes.
springs and all that in there, and I'm thinking the longevity. So actually, what they did is their warranty on the soft mount was way better than anyone else in the market.
Understood.
And so that alone for me was huge. So far I haven't had anything. There's always something that happens.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
always
matter. You
happens
could
with even the big boys. Like they are also somebody's
it
always
doesn't
crying.
matter what brand it is, you're going to have a few things here and there. Everything has been amazing with as far as like support. If I call them and I say, "Hey, I have a problem with this." Yeah, no problem. We'll send you out something, or hey, we're going to have a tech in the area. I'll have them stop by. It's been phenomenal.
And
So I wanted to see what it was going to mean for me as
yes,
far as maintenance. So I wanted to see the machine. So I asked them for a spec sheet, and I was looking at it. And I wanted to see where, the motors were and how everything
I was
worked.
expecting you to give me the tech answer. Yes, the motor is in the right place. This is good.
Yeah.
I save money here.
So
Yes,
and how easy it was going to be to change out the rollers
yes.
and everything. And then I started looking into after I installed all the machines and everything. We were looking at well, what are we going to do for payment systems?
And we explored.
We explored everything,
But
but
even before this, I would want
uh,
to just ask last question. Does it save money? Did he like does because you're one of the brave ones which have made this decision, so you're the ones that should be asked, to be honest. Like
Well,
people go to the big boys, you went to a newer brand. Did it save money?
yes, a lot of money. But
The next question is significant. Like I don't want to ask how much because
yeah,
we just want to give directional, but significant, like significant money.
I would say compared to some of the quotes we got, it was probably six figures.
Wow. Yeah. So yes,
Yes, so
yes.
a lot of money.
Any good CEO material again. You got the right guy to do procurement.
Right. So, like I said, there's a lot of. So, mind you, we took a risk. So they were trying to get a new brand out there, and but you know what? I told my wife it's the same thing. Fagor did it a long time ago. What's his name? Chris Schultz.
Yep.
He
Midwest.
he went out and branched out with Fagor years ago. Huge success. By the way, he's also a very very good guy.
Yes.
I, he's given me a lot of information, even though we weren't buying equipment from him. He's been a great guy. He's a
I've
he's a
met
great
these
person.
guys. I never understand why they entertain me, but they do.
Yeah, like I said, he's just a great guy. So I needed some parts when I was building my store, and I called him up and I said, "Hey, do you have?" I forgot what it was. He said I called him up and I said, "Hey, do you have this, and that?" And I told him I need them like now, and he goes, "You know what? I do have them." So he actually went to his warehouse or wherever he has his parts, and he packaged them up himself,
Hmm.
shipped them out to me before I had even completed the payment. I mean, that was huge just by talking to him. He understands.
Yes. And
He's a
Laundromat
great guy.
operators are good guys. Like I've usually seen this is my because it's not an everybody, at least in my opinion, I've realized is they want to help because A, it's a big boy business. It's a lot of money going in. So everybody who's doing this, I feel respects the other guy to an extent because they know life's in. Like I genuinely feel life's in this business.
Right. So, and like I said, he's just a great guy all around, and he saved my butt, because it was a time crunch, so I had to have it all, and yeah, he sent it out to me, and it was literally like overnight or something. And yeah, and he didn't know us. We had never spoke to him, so he just trusted us enough to know that, hey, we're gonna pay him, and I did pay him. But it's just
Yeah,
that
I
yeah,
hope the story didn't end with
yeah.
this.
No. So yeah, and then I've talked to him a few times after that, and like I say, he's just a great guy.
Awesome.
He will help you to help you. It doesn't matter whether you're buying from him or not. So
That's how a good distributor should be, right? Like,
yeah,
help.
so he definitely goes above and beyond. But
Absolutely.
yes, as far as the hero machines, we haven't had any
Awesome.
problems. Everything has been working out really good. And yes, it is a new brand, and I know that a lot of people, they knock certain brands. Of course, we
It's
have
okay.
some
Like
of the
everybody has their own choices. Somebody wants to drive a
right,
Ferrari, somebody wants to drive a Cadillac, somebody wants to drive a Dodge. And
right.
all cars exist.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, obviously everyone's like, hey, Speed Queen, Dexter, and all them are the elites and whatever. And that's fine. But what I felt was that they were lacking in some of the technology phases.
I
So,
can understand that. Like to an extent.
and so I get it because a lot of our customers, they're like, they like simplicity. They know how to use those machines. They this and that. So it was a learning curve to get our customers to learn how to use our machines and adapt to it.
Understood.
But so I'll let you ask your next question
No, but then that's
before
a
I get
big
into
number.
pay
Like you
range.
saved $100,000+, and I think Jamie is there. She would have told all everybody how to use those machines well. Were there any customer questions because they might have been used to the big boys? Like, hey, is this new? Like anything of that sort?
Yeah. So they said, well, here.
Most of them customers don't recognize brands.
They don't.
I no, none of them know one to the next. They just come in and they're like, "Oh, it's clean. Oh, it's shiny." And the hero
Great
machines
insight.
are
Like I used to think that people call their stores Maytag Laundry,
yeah,
Dexter
right.
Laundry, just because they feel that customers are so associative with a maybe a machine brand. I used to think.
No, not in here. I don't think there's one customer that has ever asked us anything about the brand
Mhm.
or mentioned anything about other laundromats that they've gone to brands there. It's always just, "Oh, these are new. Oh, these are shiny."
Yeah, and they are shiny, and they are shiny machines, by the way. Like I like their look. I like how they look and how that aspect is.
Yeah, they definitely have a very clean, because it's just it's not what is the material? I don't even know exactly what kind of steel that
It's
is. A
a
pol
glossy stainless
Almost
steel.
like a chrome. I just call
Yeah,
it chrome. It looks like chrome to me. Very mirrored finish, which is different because you go into a lot of the other stores and it's just like that typical brushed stainless, which is nice. And for upkeep, it probably
be better.
is better because the mirrored shows every fingerprint.
And it's also pretty clean to add in where I move in next. Is it worked with PayRange, which is good. So you had the opportunity to open up PayRange. How has that experience been like? Why did you do it in the first place? Why not go for card readers? But I can understand maybe. Like
So
it.
I'll tell you my little tidbit and then my husband can piggyback off that because that is definitely his thing.
Sure.
So for me, I did not use laundromats growing up. So I didn't really understand the importance of until a customer came up one day and she said, "Are you guys going to offer card, are you guys going to take card payments? Because I don't want to put in 60 quarters in one machine." And I looked at my husband. I said, "She was exaggerating, right?" And he's like, "Jamie, like, think about it. Think about how many quarters they're putting in an 8 load machine."
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. So it's important that we're going to have something besides just a coin machine on the wall."
Okay.
So the big thing with us, and I know a lot of people out there says, do away with quarters entirely because you're not dealing with hoppers and, fixing things and replenishing and ordering quarters from the bank and all the different things. And I fully understand that. However, we feel and we've agreed that in our demographic, in our area, people come in still with their bags of quarters. They want quarters. They shy away from technology and some of those things that intimidate them. A lot of the people don't even know or have never even used something like an ATM machine, and so to come in and deal with maybe a payment system on a wall or a kiosk, it kind of intimidates them. And I,
Like
I
I would
get
genuinely say, like this is my opinion. I am a big proponent, even though I am part of PayRange ecosystem. I genuinely believe that there is zero laundromats in US which would have zero quarter population. Like they would always have some people which want to use quarters,
right.
which that population always would exist. And if you go full card, if you go no hopper, no card changer, no coin changers, anything, you would lose that customer. Yes, you might gain some few, but then yes, you would lose those customers
Right.
for
So
sure.
I think for us, it was important to be hybrid, to
Yes,
offer both the traditional coin system, but also allow an option for those customers to cater to them that don't want to bring in wallets, don't want to bring in, purses, and they're coming in with their laundry and they have their phone. And
yes.
so for us, I feel like we're fairly, middle aged or young. um, phone. Everyone has a smartphone these
Yes.
days, and it's so simple and it's so convenient. And we have never ever had to date. I mean, we've been open at the one place now for just over a year, and we have never had anyone say anything negative about PayRange. Yes, do we maybe have a this or that where we have to work through something, a little kink? Everything is easily solved and all customers like it. And I would say about 50% of our day to day is PayRange use. So we've definitely
You
increased. In
have
the
high
beginning,
usage. You have like most of the people that I feel that keep quarters in usually reach up to pay range at 35 to 50%. Where are you?
it for the first probably 6 months, it was about 20 to 30% or so. Now we're averaging
Wow.
daily about half, which really surprises us because we have seen so much growth there. But we
Anything
also
you did?
offer, they get the $5 off when they're a new user, which is just, it's an incentive. It keeps them keeping the account funded, and then they're more likely to come back to our store in the future because they have funds on the account still. And then we have vending machines in the store that we also have pay range on. And so it just makes it a one
One
stop fluid
solution.
thing. They can pay for wash and folds with it, everything. It's a one stop payment option. And we didn't have to have any fancy equipment. We didn't have to drill
Millions of
into.
dollars being spent into this and debt for sure.
Right. We're not dealing with a Wi Fi thing where if our Wi Fi goes down, we're down. We didn't drill into the face of our machines. It's all stickers. There's no real equipment. I mean, you might have like a blue range key that might blink red for a minute, but then you easily solve that.
You've
So we
never
really,
gone through the pain of card reader installation, so I think you don't like it's good that you're pure and fresh, so you feel this is easy. Like if you would have gone through a card installation, you would have said this is so much more simpler and less and cheaper to do. So did you do all the installation by yourself?
yeah, my husband, yeah, he did everything himself.
Was it hard, Adam? While doing
No,
the installation?
actually, you so they send you a harness, right? And once you determine your setup and how like just your setup and you figure out your power, everything is literally just a breeze. It's simple. Everything's a plug and play. There's I think for each pocket on the dryers, it's four splices, and
Yes,
that's it. It's super simple. Everything else is just plug and play. It's a beautiful thing, and you don't have to drill into your machines.
which is a big benefit. Like, to be
Right.
honest, yes.
And no one can mess with them, no one can break them, no one anything. And the biggest part was that no one can put skimmers. That
Yes.
was huge to protect my customers. So no one can use skimmers. On credit card readers, you can,
Like, this is one
people
of the major
put
problem I
skimmers.
have. Like, whenever I see a card machine and I have to put my card into this, I've had this happen to me in US. The card
Yeah.
was skimmed. So yes, I know that could be a big pain.
Yeah, so that was huge for me. And I wanted to, what I did is I actually did a lot of research. I see how much credit card readers were. I talked to, I believe was Steve White from PayRange
Yep.
before before I was even ready to for card readers. I talked to him. He kind of explained to me how the process works and what it is and everything. So I was like, okay. So that always, and then I had to do my research and I checked out credit card readers from everybody. And I literally didn't like, I was like, why should I drill my machines? I think a Bluetooth option, everything required Wi Fi before, but they were a Bluetooth option. So even if your internet's down, you can still do
Which regularly
transactions.
happens. Like most of the places, the Wi-Fi, like especially in a big setting like laundromats, it's hard to get the Wi-Fi always up. Sometimes it's not the most ideal option. I like it genuinely because it's a different technology to 99% of the card readers out there. Which
Right. And so I was really intrigued by that. I was like, so if my Wi Fi is down, my customers can't use credit cards. So if they're coming in here to just use credit card, they're going to be mad because now they have to wait
yeah,
until the Wi Fi kicks back on. So I thought the Bluetooth option, no matter what, was a great idea. Honestly, the way we set it up is we also offer rewards. They have a reward system. So that
yeah.
was huge. And then not only that, but I kept doing research and what I found out was that a lot of apartment buildings have been using PayRange.
PayRange is the number one guy for laundry rooms. Like they are unbeatable in that ecosystem. They almost have a million machines on. Like
Right.
laundromat is the new space that they want to get into. That's why we
Well,
are with them.
the
But yes,
what I said, and I told my wife, I said, "Well, look, all these apartment buildings around us are PayRange,
yes.
which means that those are the people that typically come to our laundromat. So why
Like
wouldn't
what
we?"
happens is most of these machines, like, and this is my experience, again, not dumping on anyone. Most of the laundry rooms of the apartment guys don't keep their machines running. Like 50% of the machines are always broken.
Well, that's why most of these customers come to us. But I was like, well, let's simplify their process. And
Yes.
because they're already familiar with the system, it's great. And not only that, so we have EBT in California, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that
So, yeah, so that pay range also accepts that.
yes.
And so the majority of our customers, they're looking for things like that. So I'm like, well, that's great. So, and they offer what is it, Venmo,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
sorts of
Venmo,
credit cards.
PayPal, all of that stuff now.
Yeah, PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay. I said it's a great option. So at first my wife was like, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Trust me, this is the way we should do it." And so she kind of let me run with it, and then she was like, "Okay."
A good
So
CEO lets the right guy run with it too.
yeah, so she seen that I was passionate about it because
Yes.
I love technology and like I said, I love taking smaller companies and seeing what their ideas because the smaller companies are always the ones that or
Developing.
the yeah and they're hungry, they want more,
Yes.
so
Yes.
they and people don't recognize that sometimes.
No, you are a hungry guy. You came from the behind. Like you are the underdog in your location, in your area.
Right. And then I also noticed that no one in our area has a payment system for their dryers. So
Hmm.
I wanted them to be able to come in with just their phone and say, "Hey, I'm going to be able to if I want to buy a snack from the vending machine, I have my phone, I can do it. If I want to buy a soap, I can do it from my phone. I want to do all my wash and drying and everything,
It's all completely from
all
one.
one system. They don't have to, sometimes they, like credit card readers, if you swipe too many times, your bank will flag you.
Yes. They
So
would even
this
not
way,
authorize it. They will tell you that there is a hold on your card.
right. And so this way, they can just upload, hey, they could do the math and say, hey, all right, so I can use $50
Yes.
and I'll be able to finish and I'll have some left over for next time. And that was something that I was thinking on the back end. But installation is beautiful. There's always
Obviously, things I would love to have your feedback on anything that can get better also. Like we would try and get it better because you are probably the kind of ICP or the mean customers that we want to hit because you understand what we are trying to push and you
right.
yourself understand it by the way. But
So
next question, like, okay, yeah, you were saying something.
so the other part why I chose Turns was your incorporation with PayRange.
Yes.
So that was a huge thing for me because after talking to Kay and I believe Sabina
Yeah.
and all that, I learned that you would be able to start. You guys were working on
We
a
were remote pay. Like
feature.
we have a remote pay ecosystem now. We are completely connected ecosystem.
Right. So that's what I was waiting for. And I had actually, that was one of my things that I was waiting for you guys to, like I said, sometimes you wait a little bit and
Yes.
there's always features that you want. Well, that was a huge feature for me to be able to start my machines right from my POS system. That was huge.
But I would ask you even a step earlier. Jamie, now you've done all with the self-service. Now the laundromat is clean. People are coming in. They're using their hero machines and pay range. Why do you want to go into wash, dry, fold? This is even next step, right? Like you would need people. This would require more operations. This is more hell
So
for the first 7 months.
My
so
wife can answer that one.
I love that you're saying all of that because those were all of my same thoughts. I was like, let's get a grip on self-serve first and get our, our bearings on the business before and keep trying to get customers in and whatnot and not overload ourselves. Again, we
Yes.
were we were the only ones working in the store. We were doing it all. So I was like, how are we going to have a service and not even have anyone here but us to fold?
Yes.
So it was seemed very overwhelming, and I am more of the conservative approach and let's give it a little more time. And he's just like, it's now or never. Like, why are we going to wait? Let's just do it. Like, there's opportunity for more growth and more revenue. Like, we're missing a whole realm of customer base.
Yes.
And so I said, okay, fine. And he started looking for, different companies that we explored a few different ones. And I, again, just kind of trusted him with whatever you feel like is going to be the best. And he's educated me really on, and I'm still learning every day about the turn system and all the different functionality and whatnot. And he loves it. It's like his little baby. Like he loves to tell us all how you can start the machines from the POS system and all the cool new things that he sees that come out or that's released or a new update. And he's always tinkering with something on there.
Well, part of that's Kay's, every Wednesday's letter too. So
Yeah,
Yes. That's
he'll learn
that's
something
our
new.
job to keep you excited. But now you started off with Bosch Rifle. Like what was the earlier the store when this was Zombie Mat? Did it have Wash Dry Fold? Like how did you start? How did you get new clients in? How did you promote it? Like what was the beginning like?
So I heard through kind of the grapevine that there was a little bit of like a trickle here and there where they would do a one-off thing. It was no real system in place, I don't believe. So for us it was all new territory, and we're still trying to kind of let people know that hey, we do this, we offer this service. And some people are like, "Wait, what? Like laundromats have a drop-off or a pickup and delivery
Yes,
service?" And then you get the ones that's like, "Oh, well, I usually go here, but I'll try you guys out." So you kind of get a little bit of both. And then you have the ones that's just budget friendly and they don't care about any sort of elite service. They'll do it themselves and spend an entire day at the laundromat folding
that's mostly
themselves.
the quarter guys. That's mostly the quarter guys, and that's very hard to get.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're learning just to
But
keep
then
it in
what
people's.
happened next? Like this, you're looking for it, and then what was your first client? Like, let's say, I just want to, like, I want to take you back to the moon. What happened when what happened with your first client, and when you thought, yeah, this is it, let's go all
So
forward.
we would get customers that would call our business line and they would ask us if we offer the service. And we were like, kind of unofficially, like, we don't have anything in place, but we can definitely do it for you. And we didn't really have any pricing structure. We were just kind of like ad-libbing and just figuring it out on the fly. And doing it as more of like a favor, one off, what we thought
Yeah,
was fair, what they thought was fair. Probably hurting ourselves in the long run, honestly, because we were
yeah,
just trying to buy in the customers and, them feel like we weren't screwing them over.
yeah.
And then from there, we would write up a sales like order receipt, like paper book, very generic. There was no system, there was no receipt, there was no tags. We were using post-it notes and kind of just doing, again, like, if somebody asked, we would do it. We would never want to turn someone away, but we weren't trying to get anyone in because we didn't have anything in place.
Okay.
And so he felt like it was really important to get something in place so we can have a solid structure and start really earning those customers and getting those
What's
people.
your price now? So what are the prices now?
So we have $1.29 for 2 day a pound. We
That's
have
pretty cheap.
$1.49 for
California standards. That's very cheap.
and
California.
$1.49 for next day, and then we do $1.99 for same day, and then our pickup and delivery rate is $2.29 a pound, and we try to have that back within 24 hours.
We are very cheap in
Wow.
this area.
You have
So that
excellent pricing, man. Like, if this is and if you're able to make it this pricing, this is world class pricing in California. This is like non-California pricing in California pricing right now.
So it's funny that you say that, though, because we've noticed that Sacramento, surrounding cities, Sacramento, the Bay Area, Southern California, all of them are $2 and up. And yet in our area, everything, I mean, I've explored places that are, I don't know how great the service is, but they're $1. And I don't understand how it's even beneficial to them at that point because it
Like I
takes
said, like,
time.
guy who have dollars, they don't do any service. There is no
Right.
service. Like, it doesn't sell. So that's why it's just as a board written there. Wash, dry, fold for $1. Nobody's coming in, nobody's going out. That's the one.
Yeah, so we know we're not obviously um the most expensive, and we're definitely not. I feel like we're fair. We're fair considering the zip code we're in and what other.
Like, in my personal opinion, you're actually even a bit more fair to them, which is good. Like, you have an opportunity to grow this. Like, if this was already at 350, I would also be scared. Now what?
Right, right. How do you
Well,
grow?
well, my thing was I wanted to, have the service and mainly the service, to offset some of the cost and whatnot. But honestly, it's like I tell everyone is I wanted to provide the service because, obviously you reach a different customer base, which
Yes.
is great. But I don't want to be one of the greedy laundromats where, hey, everything's just money, 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 money. No, it's customer service. Our main focus on everything has been customer service minded. So we are like, so our number is posted everywhere,
Yes.
and all the calls go directly to us. So when they call and they say, "Hey, whatever they're having, they want or whatever it is," when they talk to us, they're like, "Oh, so you guys are the owners?" Yeah, and they're like surprised. They're like,
90% of the
"We've never
operators
talked
just
to
hide,
anyone."
man. They hide. I don't know why they spend
I don't
millions
know either.
of dollars and hide.
Yeah, so we're always in the stores. So either location, we're always in there and we're always talking to customers and seeing if everything's okay. And this, so my approach was I wanted everything customer service minded. So that was our approach. If your customers are happy, I'm not gonna nickel and dime you. I'm not gonna say, hey, well, you owe me a quarter or whatever. Last month in the month of February, all of February, we gave out a free wash for the entire, like every day of the month. And so we just want to make sure that customers are happy. If you make a customer angry for over a dollar,
Yeah.
he's gonna go tell 10 other people,
And what I
and
realize is the angry people tell more than happy
yeah,
people.
exactly. So I'm like, look, it's a dollar. You know what? We'll make it right. Take care of you. That way they're happy. And you know what? Maybe just maybe they'll go out and tell, hey, they actually took care of me. Like, they're there.
They're present.
Yeah, they're present. So
I think you are like this is my opinion coming from a third side because I was not involved in this in the first place. I think you've done extremely well. Like I see your Facebook presence, I see your social media presence, I see you on Google. You have more reviews, you have better ratings than people who are in and around you. Like it just feels like you are trying to run this at a different pace than what the other guy is. So I'm
right,
sure you're gonna be doing much better than the average guy is, and because it's different. Like when I talk to you, it's a business to you. For a lot of people, this sounds like a hobby where they've put in $1 million. Like
right.
and it's I don't have that $1 million hobby, so I am a little confused that way. That's all.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something that I'm not. Well, I hope you're aware of. But when I first got into, I was doing my research on the POS systems, and then I started looking into Turns and the pay range and all that, right, all together. I will say that one of the things that I loved the most about you guys was that no matter what question I had, it was either Kay and Sabina. It amazed me. Sometimes I would send them, a text at like 4 in the morning my time, and it was like an instant response. I was like, dude, it's like 4 in the morning, and
Right. The
or
availability.
the availability and how phenomenal their customer service was. That was amazing to me. So I have never seen that from a company. So I will, I have to say they were phenomenal.
Yeah, I think Kirtana has been probably the turns for us all across. And what I genuinely believe is you're there for all your customers always. Like when I talk to you, I talk to
Right,
Jamie. I understand the way she talks about customer service, and we learn it from the best guys. Obviously, not the guys who are hiding. Like if we learn it from them, then that's a separate topic in itself. But then if you're pushing it, then we have to push it too. And I genuinely love that we are able to push it. Like you're doing something which I would genuinely say for most of the technology people, it's hard. Like 70% of the technology guys would never touch a laundromat and never go in because trust me, like, and this is just me, and if you would want, we'll cut this out. But you're normal people, right? Like
right.
you'll be pushing in like $500,000 into even this today. And that's a lot of money. Like
It is.
that's a lot of money for people everywhere.
Yeah, people, people think California, it just has an abundance of money.
Cost an abundance of
It
money.
costs
We
an
don't have
abundance
an
of.
abundance of
Yeah,
money.
it's called debt. But like I was saying though, it just, as far as you guys building the website, everything, it was just
Yeah,
my wife, what she's not telling you is that she's very OCD. Certain things, and then our branding and all that, it matters. And you
It
guys,
matters because I can see it's done well. Like
yeah,
I was
well,
not there building the website, the support team guys were. So I know there was a lot of back and forth. But now
yeah.
when I see the final result, I'm going to your website, I'm checking, I'm saying I'm writing laundromats in Stockton. You're the number one in every type of ecosystem search that I do. This is what we work for. This is what we want.
Right. And I think that that's important. And we never felt rushed with Kay and Sabina and getting it all built, and it was honestly a really good experience. And like I said, just
I think too, to kind of piggyback on all of that, is transparency has been a big thing too. You come into all of this and you don't want to just gloat and say, hey, look at what we've done and we built a laundromat and this is not, but actually show the transparency, show the struggle, show the growth, show what we've had to go through. None of this was handed to us on a silver platter.
Yes.
We've worked with the distributor day in and day out, to find the right equipment workup and what we thought would make sense. And also going out on our own, just kind of our own intuition and feeling of this is what I think might be best. And maybe it isn't. And maybe we're going to fall on our face, but we went with our gut. And then working with you guys on getting that wash and fold, taking our laundromats to the next level. That was huge too. And just showing our customers the transparency. They don't necessarily care about anything other than just how quickly they can get in and out that day. But sometimes they just like to kind of hear the story because then they feel like they're supporting something.
And I would suggest you this, like this to you, Jamie. Like honestly, and this is my, like I feel this is now the next era is gonna be people brands. Like 50% of
Instead
your
of
laundromat,
franchise. Yeah.
yes, like 50% of the people in the laundromat come because of you and Adam.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
so. They would come because if this was, I hope so. This was A and B. They might not have the same grip. They might not have the same pull.
right. Because anyone with a lot of money can come in and make something happen somewhere.
Yes. And lose money. And at the end of the day, lose money and go home.
Yeah, but having that extra enhancement or that extra flair or that personal relationship where it's like we're supporting something good. Like we have two kids and we
Yes.
both worked an honest living for a long time and just wanting a shift for ourselves, wanting
Right.
something different. And off of one laundromat, my husband was still going to work. He still knew he was going to have to work. This wasn't going to provide us wealth where all of a sudden we were just going to be able to be a business owner and that was it. Thankfully, though, with the second laundromat, he hasn't had to go back to work or think about that right now. And we have been able to fully focus on just this, but being able to do that has allowed us to add that extraness that not a lot of the other owners can do.
And this is the California dream. Like at the end of
Right.
the day, the dream is that you get to have something and you get to never go back to your own job.
Yeah.
You have,
And you
it's very hard. It's not easy.
It isn't. It is not easy. And, we get calls about random things every day where it's just like, wow, it would be a lot easier if you were just off at 5 and we didn't have to worry about anything after, that certain hour that you clock
Your
out.
kids will appreciate this. Like
Yeah,
I'm saying, like
it's
finally at the end
humbling.
of the day, they will learn because they would grow up in the ecosystem where their parents are working and have worked very hard to
Yep.
build a
Yeah.
brand, and they will inherit it and have a choice whether they want to build that hard, they want to work that hard, or what's that for. And this is what I come from a background, ma'am. I come from a country where this is very like this is the norm in general. People
Yeah.
usually do businesses with the idea that it's going to be a long-term business. It's going to be my family business. I'm going to build it, and it's generational thoughts. And
Right.
I love the idea that you have a generational thought. Like very few people have it, and that's why they don't succeed most of the times.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then, you go into our stores and we maybe didn't come from that marketing and branding background, but we knew enough of how it mattered. And coming from a company like Apple, they were very strategic in how they did everything. And so I knew how I
I'm a
wanted
top
things to.
laundry CEO, ma'am. I'm not joking. You might find that I'm just saying this in banter, but I'm very serious. Like, because there are very few people who understand, like, it's easy to talk about just marketing, but
Right,
understanding that any marketing would mean people would have to work, things would have to change on ground, things
right.
different, customers
Well,
feel different. It's new, it's different.
right. And you think of things like the basics. Okay, you want to brighten it up, you want a light, bright color. Well, for us, we went a little not so conventional. We wanted something that represented us and
Yes.
kind of our background, but also made it look totally different than any other laundromat they were going to walk inside of. Again, maybe not the largest, maybe not the most brand new building, because it wasn't a build out, it was an existing building, but yet something they would remember and recognize. Oh, wait, that's that big bright teal one,
You'll be a
you
mini
know?
brand, and that's a good thing, right? Like you would be a mini Stockton
R-
brand, and that's more than 95% of the people would be able to do, and that's what I would 100% support you in every sense of the form to do. Like there
Art.
could only be one largest, ma'am. There can be
Right.
only one. There can be
Right.
only one biggest. There can be many awesomeness. And you have two stores, you are spreading awesomeness at least in two spaces. What's in the future? What's in the next 5 years? What do you think?
Well, if my husband had it his way, we'd already have a third. He's eager to jump right in and do something else. I think we're gonna cool it down for a little bit and let our second one kind of be where we're nurturing. It's a newborn, you have
It
to.
was closed down also.
It was just like the first. It was closed down also, and so getting those customers to come back in and know that it's not the old owners, it's not the broken machines, it's not the place that was unattended. And so gaining all of that back is a work in progress. We're right back to square one. Slowly, we're seeing growth little by little, but it is taking some time. And so right now, since we just opened that one in January, we're really just going to focus on that, and that's where all of our time is invested right now.
And honestly, for us, family time is very important. So we like to spend lots of time with our family. That is huge overall.
It's
That
important,
is
probably the
is
more,
very
more
important.
important than laundromat. And next is
Right. And then so obviously we have two young kids, so we want to make sure their education is where it needs to be, and we're making it a point to where we're home
yes.
and doing homework and making sure that our kids understand. And honestly, I like taking my kids to the laundromat. My wife, on the other hand, she's like, well, I don't know. I said they need to see. So I actually have some pictures. So when I was building the first one,
Would love to have them. Would add them with the podcast. I would love to. I would have loved to actually shown your face too, but then there was some
oh,
problem that we couldn't. But I would love, because my idea is to talk to people who are real, who have real stakes at line.
I'll send you I'll send you some pictures and some videos of the building process and
100%.
everything. So my son, this is the funny thing. So I needed to break up some concrete, right? And I had a jackhammer, and they're heavy. And
Yes.
so my son, he's 7. He was 7 at the time, and he's like, "Dad, can I do that?" I said, "Oh no, that's really really heavy." And he goes, so I kind of I'm holding the machine, and he's like, and I'm letting him hold it. His little arms are shaking, and he's like, I got it. And literally, I'm not even joking. I have a video somewhere in my phone, and he's doing it all by himself. I was like, wow. But I love taking them just to show them the
You should.
process,
I
how
would
it
suggest.
takes
They
time,
won't like it, but then you
dedication.
should.
Yeah, it takes time, dedication, and hard work, but you can make it something. And he loves going, and he's like, Dad, can I go out there and see if customers need help? Yeah. But my wife, she's like, well, I don't want them thinking we're working our children. I said,
No,
no,
it's not.
it's
Like,
all
I would say, like, this is just my personal opinion. I come from a different background, maybe. Kids would love to become, for kids, parents are their first heroes, like a lot of them, like for me.
right.
And it's good to see your hero working. It's not just that, yeah, hero is always on TV and he comes back and that's where their home is. And
Right.
if I was given the opportunity, I would love it, and I'm pretty sure your kids would appreciate this too.
Right. And so they love going down there. Plus they get into all the snacks, so they really love it.
And and people love them. People love kids.
Oh yeah. So like I said, my oldest, he's all for it. Like he'll go down there, and like there's TVs, and we have TVs in the laundromat, and so customers can watch TV while they wait. So my oldest, he'll go and he'll ask customers, and he'll want to help with this, or Dad, can I help you do this if I'm like doing some maintenance stuff. So I let him watch, and I let him
Love it.
try a few things so he can kind of see what I do, because I go at what, like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, before we
I
open.
go at 3:30 in the morning before we're even open, and I go and I do some cleaning and some maintenance. And lint is a huge thing, so I open up the back of the dryers, all my dryer wall. I open it all up. I clean everything back there, get all the lint, clean that up. Then you got to, every now and then you have to take off the front panels,
Yes.
clean where your,
Like
I can't even think,
the amount of
where your
days that you
rollers are.
spend,
Your
like
rollers get a lot of lint, so you got to
most
clean
of the
all
places
that.
that I go to are just unclean. Like they're just, you're talking about so much in lint and cleaning the rollers. I wish I could show you places which I go to which are just pouring. There is water down, blah blah blah, and everything. I wish
Well,
people took care of their laundromats as coolly as you did.
so what's funny about that is the reason why, and I've noticed, because I've seen a lot of different laundromats while we were looking to do one and get one, acquire one. I noticed that the reason why there's always leaks is because they use those water hose fittings, like the little faucets that you turn like your water hose on. those will always leak. I don't use those. I use quarter turn valves, all one piece, so they will never leak.
I'll also tell you why they leak. Because in your ecosystem, Jamie is always there making sure that people are not fudging around with the machines. There
Yeah,
are usually no one there. People are breaking the machines left, right, and center, and everything is leaking out.
right. And so we take really good care of our stuff, and we want to make sure that people work hard for their money, so they deserve to have a good place, a good working machine, not one that's just maybe at 50-60% good.
Yes.
So they deserve to have, if they're paying for it, they deserve to have a good working machine where they could come in, wash and dry and go home. So our thing is also with the machines that we have, we can actually say that you can be in and out under an hour.
Yeah.
And that's washed, dried on the
And
regular cycle, and that's fully dry. Obviously, the folding part, if they decide to stay and fold, I can't help them there. But as far as the,
some people
the
like
washing and
especially
drying under
laundromats.
an
I've
hour.
seen people who are there, make friends, talk to their buddies, talk to their family. Like it's all. But then you allow them. You are growing consistently. Have gone on to a
Right.
new location, and I'm pretty sure, Jamie, in the next 5 years you'll be on the fourth location. We'll have this conversation again. I'll follow up with you every year, and trust me, I am on March 7, 2025. I'll have this conversation with you on March 7, 2026, and see where we are.
I love the enthusiasm and support.
100%. I probably might come and visit you in the next 1.5 month. I'll be in in SoCal,
Oh, that would
like
be
in that
awesome.
area. I love to meet people who are courageous, ma'am. I was not one. I came from a middle class background. I love people who have worked hard for this and realize, and they teach me that yes, everything has to be real. And I love talking to you, and that's why I would probably keep talking to you for hours. Because people like you inspire me. I get inspired talking to you. I love the laundromat business, and I love what you have done and what you're building.
Well, I really love that you built Turns because I'm really happy with you guys, and you surrounded yourself with great people. Like I said, I can't say enough about Kay and Sabina and everyone who is in the background that also
Yes.
helps out that we may not even know of. But nevertheless, they are amazing. Kay, amazing. She goes above and beyond. So
He truly
I'm
does.
very, very thankful for what you've created, and it's been working out great for us. And I hope that you're very, very successful.
No,
Um,
we'll be
yeah.
successful with you. 100% Adam and 100% Jamie.
Thank you,
Thanks,
appreciate it.
man.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.